Coming to you every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock on WJZZ Cool TV. Also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Dr. John Telford is a former Detroit Public Schools superintendent, a former world-class athlete, conqueror of Olympic champions, a championship track coach, poet, newspaper columnist, a longtime civil rights crusader, and author of 7 books. Creative Insubordination, What Old Men Know, The Will Robinson Story, The Poetic Prancings of Mad John, The Poet Emperor of Earth, and his explosive autobiography, A Life on the Run. Plus, another upcoming poetry book, Athletes, Activism, and Apple Boughs, a Detroit poetic epic. His books are available on Amazon.com or by calling 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272. Dr. Telford has been called a legend and also a lightning rod for controversy, a recipient of the City Council Spirit of Detroit Award and the Joe Louis Foundation Spirit of the Champ Award. He was named Wayne State University's Alumnus of the Year, and a Detroit track is named for him. His email is drjohntelfordedd@aol.com. That's dr.johntelfordedd@aol.com. Dr. Telford also has a show on WCHB AM 1340 that airs on Saturdays at 9:30 in the morning and Mondays at 6:30 in the evening. That's on WCHB AM 1340, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Mondays at 6:30 p.m. And now, without further ado, I present to you that old native Detroiter, the one and only Dr. John Telford.
Thank you, Charlotte Jones.
Wants to play again. You're welcome.
Otherwise known as Char J, author of A Ain't Always for Apple.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Volumes 1 and 2, with Volume 3 about to come out. An erotic adult alphabet book. That is one heck of a book, and one heck of an artist there, too. What's the artist's name again? I always forget.
Daniela Vasquez.
And Daniela Vasquez is from Venezuela, and she needs a prize, and so does Char for this book right here, I'll tell you. But my name is Detroit. I'm a blue-collar town. Blue salt melts my mid-March snow. Speedy cars and sprinters spring from me. I father fierce fighters and funky music. In a Motown moment, I can spit the blues right back in a bureaucrat's eye. Have you never seen blue salt? No complex chemistry here, only the old color of a new sky. And there's a new sky dawning on Detroit today. It's dawning, the sun is rising, the new sky is dawning, because we have got Natasha Anay in the studio today. Natasha Anay, that great poet. And she's going to be sharing some poetry with us, but she's also going to be talking about auto reform, auto insurance reform. Because, well, I'll let her tell you why she's going to be doing that. But before that, I always have some announcements to make. And one of them is, oh boy, I attended the lamentably last gala of the 14th Congressional District Democrats, whereof I have been on the executive board for years. But it was the last hurrah of the 14th District Democrats, because we have lost a congressional district. We've lost the 14th, and it's metamorphosed into the 13th. But I was at this gala over at the yacht club where I'm a member. I host a lot of galas there, and I was at this gala, and Rick Blocker made a superb farewell speech, farewell address, as did as did our Congresswoman, Brenda Lawrence. You know, she always does a superb job. I wish she would run it again, to tell you the truth. But you know, we got a whole bunch of people running for the congressional seat, and they're all good. They're all good. You know, I hosted several of them. You know, at the yacht club, and we had a forum. It's almost a question of pick 'em, you know, because whichever one goes in is going to do a superb job for us. So anyway, without further ado, and also what was the name of that? We had Congressman Clyburn. Congressman Clyburn delivered a great speech. You know, down from South Carolina. He is the majority whip of the House. I hope that he remains the majority whip of the House after this election, though, because, you know, the Retrumplicans are doing everything they can to fix everything, you know. So
we all need to get out and vote, too. So don't forget that. Please
get out and vote. And vote straight Democratic, up and down the ticket, up and down the line. State House, you know, state votes, national votes, all votes. It doesn't matter who you voted for before, or even what party you voted for before. The Republican Party is no longer the Republican Party. It's a Retrumplican Party. They've turned fascist. You've got 137 of them in Congress right now who are actually, you know, propounding Trump's big lie. I mean, it's almost inconceivable to me, being 86 years old, that I would ever see our nation in this kind of a fix. You know, I remember World War II. And I had 4 uncles in that war. The kid next door to me got killed on the Normandy beach. I remember it. You know, I was 9 years old, you know, when that happened. And we had a horrendous threat from outside our country, which we do again, you know, with this war in the Ukraine. And I think my co-host and my guests are getting nervous because I'm talking too long. But you know what? We got a whole hour, so don't worry about it, you guys. But this war in the Ukraine, plus COVID, you know, plus the fact that the little guy in North Korea is saber rattling, you know, and Putin, of course, is a monster, murderous monster, and Trump loves him, you know. So go and figure that one out. I guess he wants to be him. He almost was, you know. We came too close. And if Merrick Garland doesn't put him in prison, which I hope and pray he does, he'll run again. So anyway, and you know, that's the other threat we're facing. We're not just facing a threat, you know, from Putin and China and North Korea and Iran. We're facing a grievous threat from right within our own borders. It hasn't happened to that extent since 1859, you know, the dawn of the Civil War, 1860. Anyway, enough of my pontificating politically now, because we have got Natasha Anay in the studio today, fine poet. Natasha, welcome to the John Telford Detroit Show with Charjay.
Thank you. Greetings from this beautiful thought. So nice to be here. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. I remember attending a lot of your poetry soirees,
Yeah.
and getting in there and inflicting poetic prancings. Because I
Mad John.
poetic. Yeah, this book, The Lifelong Poetic Prancings of Mad John. Mad, not in the sense of angry, but I'm angry sometimes. I'm angry at Trump mostly, but also in the sense of being a little crazy, and I confess to that. But Natasha, what have you been up to since I last saw you at your event at the Peaceful Poetic Place?
Well, we were getting ready to celebrate our 7-year anniversary in 2019. And I just fell short, just shy of that. I had my car accident in August. Anniversary was in October, and I just had to pull back, and I literally have been on hiatus ever since.
Ever since the accident.
Since I had an event that week, the Peaceful Poetic Place that week, and then I just
that was it.
I just went down. I went down for the count. But I'm Phoenix Rising.
Phoenix
Phoenix
Rising.
Rising now, and I'm slowly coming back. And this is one of the opportunities I have to let people know that I'm still here.
So I'm
still
not
here.
that familiar with you. Is the Peaceful Poetic Place, is that an actual building?
No, it's I had one venue,
Okay.
so we were pretty much we had two different places.
It was
but
in
I
Royal
in
Oak,
one
the one
place
I
for
went.
5 years. The last 5 years we were in Royal Oak. First 2 years in Detroit, but it's a poetry and music series that I was hosting and producing, and feature different artists, local and out of state as well. So we had people far as Texas and New Jersey. So it was definitely something.
So something along the lines of when they used to have like Deaf Poetry Jam, something like that.
I wouldn't say it was like Deaf Poetry Jam because all those artists were like featured, highlighted artists, but we had a band, we had a tap dancer, we had vendors.
Yeah.
It was a variety of things.
Yeah, I used to sell my books there.
Poetry was
I had a stack of books. I had them, people would buy them. I sat at a table. It was cool. You got to do that again. You can do that again.
I'm coming back. I'm coming
all right,
back.
okay.
I'm starting slow, so I actually have started my first event a couple of weeks ago. But I'm keeping it really, really small and intimate, and being able to connect with people on a more close, personal level.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm kind of bringing them along my healing journey and helping people refocus on their health and wellness and their healing.
Oh,
and we're
good.
using the arts and also educating why I have them captive, educating them about health and wellness and taking care of themselves.
You know, I use my poetry to educate.
I know you do.
You know,
And advocate.
Yeah, I'm teaching poetry. You know, I go to Frederick Douglass High School once a week, and I teach poetry to a class of 11th graders. And then once a month, I go around to the high schools because I'm the poet in residence for the Detroit Public Schools Community District. But you know, I'm not teaching poetry. I'm teaching life, because every one of my poems has got a message somewhere and a moral, and we need to do more of that.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had done more of that, somebody like Trump never would have arisen in this country to threaten our the very foundation of our democracy. But tell us a little bit about your accident. What happened and what?
Okay. Well, so in 2019, I was getting onto the lodge. I was actually coming from rehearsal at the African American Museum because we had an event coming up at the end of that week. I took one of the fellow artists home, and so I was delayed a little bit, and so be it. Someone slid across the water, and I say they body slammed me side to side with their vehicle, and immediately my neck and back were sore, and I pulled over. It was a hit and run. They pulled over, checked their vehicle, and took off.
Took off.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Where was this?
this was on the lodge. Off of coming from Grand Boulevard.
So you were on the freeway when that happened.
I had only been on maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was out of nowhere. But yeah, it literally changed my life. I didn't even know that I was hurt that bad.
Did
and
you go
sometimes,
to the hospital?
I didn't go to the hospital until the next. I went
Always.
straight home. I went straight home.
Always go to the hospital.
Yeah, and then that next, I agree. I absolutely agree. But I went that next morning, and that next morning when I woke up, I knew I could. I've had concussions before, so I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Not just the pain, but in my brain it wasn't
Oh,
right.
wow.
And that's when I.
You had a closed head injury.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
what happened.
Yep. I had diagnosed with brain injury.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah, you always have to go to the
Yep.
hospital just for precautionary measures, if nothing else. You're watching WJZZ Live TV, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
And thank you, Char, for that commercial. We've got Natasha Ane in the studio, and she wants to talk to you about a lot of things. But Natasha, do you have any new events coming up before we talk about?
The event that I was telling you about, I would call it a private event. It's not private, but I don't make it public. So what I mean by that is because it's so few able to attend. I don't just post it for the world. So I do, I am putting it out there, but it's first come, and it's only about 25 people that can attend. And so, as the word gets out, it's going to be, going to become more difficult to be able to attend the event. And so right now I kind of have it. I have three events scheduled every other month, and I'll continue to probably keep it going.
3 events scheduled every other month.
Yeah, so May, July, and September I have set, booked.
Okay.
On the venue.
Your events are not. It's not because you don't want more people. It's your space doesn't allow for more people.
No, actually, both.
Okay.
So I picked a space that was smaller, and so that I want to keep it small right now. And so because I am still healing, I wanted to start slow and see what all I can handle.
Okay.
But it's the perfect opportunity to really connect with people on a more personal, intimate level. But I also, just 2 days ago, I actually got approached about another venue on the east side where they want to start a open mic back again. And they said, whatever you need, you can have the space. You don't have to pay. So, like I said, I'm coming
Is
back
it a
out.
they say?
No. It's like Mac, way out, way east side, like Mac out there. So
kind of where I'm at.
Right. That's not way out. That's where I am.
Yeah,
Isn't that close to Grosse Point?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm in the River House over on Marina Drive.
Okay.
just a little bit the other side of Van Dyke.
Uh-huh.
But what you're doing in a way kind of resembles a format that would be like chamber music. Or you bring a cello and a violin, and you got just a couple of musicians and maybe 15, 20 people sitting and listening.
Yeah, well, what's different about this also? For one, it's poetry, but TEA. So we have tea.
Oh, okay.
And I share with them the different benefits of tea, and we have tea afterwards. And then we're able to fellowship. And when you have the big events, you miss a lot of people. You don't know who all was there. So I really like connecting and getting to know people. But what's really different is about the actual event is that I allow people to express themselves during the event, which is really different. So I may even throw a question out there, or I invite people to share what they thought about a piece or share something that they connected. And so I really like this. I really like this connecting.
So it'll be interactive.
So
Yes,
is that
absolutely.
like at the tea house that's over there on Mac? Is that?
It's actually in Southfield, and it is a historic building in Southfield, and it's actually a wellness center. It's like a wellness retreat lodge.
Okay.
So
Oh,
it's
that's
perfect atmosphere for that. And when it gets warm, we could even go outside in the back. There's nature. I love it. I
Sounds
love it.
good.
Yoga,
Sounds
like-
good.
it's like a
some
home.
poetry.
Yeah, it's like a home because there's a fireplace in there. It's like you're just coming into the living room and we cleared out the furniture, but so to speak. But I love it. I really love it.
Count me in. I'll bring I'll bring the poetic prancings of Mad John and my violin.
When I say home, I mean you have to leave your shoes at the door.
Oh, I don't wear shoes.
Oh, okay.
I mean you are home.
All right. It sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting space.
Yeah.
It really does.
Well, count me in. Count me in, Natasha. Okay. Let me ask you this. There was a new piece that you wanted to share, a new poem that you wanted to share. Do you have it on your?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I know you are a political man.
You got that right. We all got to be now. I mean, it's this is a come to Jesus time. And,
I never considered myself a political person. That really wasn't my interest. But since seeing how laws of the different laws have affected me, but this is like in the nitty gritty of my everyday life where I'm seeing how these laws are impacting my family, my livelihood, and so I got mad about it.
I've been mad my whole life, but I'm glad that some other folks are starting to get mad too.
Yeah. Predators are in conference rooms and behind big desks sometimes. They disguise themselves as friendly politicians with Cartier glasses, except they have no loyalty to the hood. Detroit,
Amen.
That is.
Amen.
Why can't you see? It's just To hide their lying eyes, I always wondered how auto claims agents could sleep at night. Just dirty. They need to open their eyes, better yet, compassion. No amount of money is worth the sacrifice of a human's life quality. See, God don't like ugly. Defrauding, lying, hiding, delaying, denying, and make you out to be the villain while trying to get what's owed to you. Same tricks. The book was written long ago from someone with an ego or without a soul. Try to hold on and stay sane. For now, let's try to reclaim the money they reframed, as if there is a surplus just waiting to be returned. No, it's waiting to be claimed through unfulfilled claims. People are dying, trying to thrive, survive, and unlock funds they helped build. MCCA, Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association. I imagine a board of old fat white men looking down their noses. We are numbers, not people. Right. That is how the 1% get richer. They say no profits. The 990 says opposite. We pay and they invest our money away until it grows. But we lose every day while they gain. $400 is the epitome of 2020. We are in a new pandemic. 2.3 billion bailouts made corporations richer while people became homeless. What exactly could $1,200 buy for those who are just struggling, trying to pay the rent and keep the lights on? It couldn't stimulate anything for the 99%. While our money is traded and exchanged in markets, we have trouble affording food at the market. Prices are rising. We are mere commodities. They gain interest. And now the nonprofit that netted the millions is giving back refunds, withholding money earmarked for those hurt, some helpless, some dying, computing losses based on estimates that they then settle for way less. Lord, help us. They stole that $400 from your neighbor behind your back. It's hush money in front of your face. They might as well have robbed us with gunpoint.
That's right.
Instead, they robbed us on our backs after we were hurt. And that is the worst kind of criminal. Many politicians are accomplices who will never do time, guilty by association and refusal to vote no. I will shine a light. Amen. And I will not go silently in the night.
Oh, yeah. And who was it who wrote that? Oh, man, I love the way you did that. Do not go silent into that good night.
Right. That's Shakespeare, isn't it?
Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Man, I'm getting bad. Do not go gentle into that good night.
Yes.
Rage, rage against the dying of the light. We're going to have to check that. I'm sorry, listeners, I can't remember who that poet was. But, now I got a poem because we've got to start raging. We've got to do that. I just wrote this poem a couple of days ago called, no, it's about a week ago, or two, called The Values of Verse. And I don't have it memorized because I just wrote it. Verse comes to us by pen or voice. We thus can always take our choice. Let me be also sure to mention that verse will gain us righteous vengeance via deft poetic arts that can topple oligarchs. Verse will clearly, plainly lay out what we poets dare to say out, with mule like gentle lambs no more, but rather with a fearsome roar, as from some cacophonic core of lions. And we were listening to a lioness just now read her poem, Natasha Anay, and she's got a real bone to pick with the insurance industry. So, Natasha, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so ironically, in 2019, that's when the auto reform law um, came into being. But this law was something that was signed kind of like behind closed doors. We didn't really know much
It's
about
always
it. It
done
was
that
like
way.
in the middle of the night on an island. No public no public forum to be able to give feedback or to really understand what we were getting ready to get into. People just heard you're going to save money.
A thief in the night.
Exactly. And really, we really haven't saved. We really haven't. We've given up to save some money, and in the long run, we still lose. And even when you look at the difference in what people are saving, they're barely saving. Some people's prices went up. And Detroit is still, we still have issues with how much we're paying comparatively to the outlying suburbs and even other states on top of that. So, so Governor Whitmer, this is the MCCA has about $27 billion. She gave back $3 billion, while to consumers, while the insurance companies still are holding up payments to people who are hurt. So when I'm talking about this, I'm literally talking about myself. So, well, let me backtrack. So the other part with the law is that they reduce payments to the providers and to the families who are caring for their injured family members, and so they're losing income. Healthcare providers are closing, so there's less providers who are able to help those who are injured. There's people who have actually died because they could not get the care due to the new auto reform law. So
They don't care.
Cut by
They don't care.
50
They don't care.
percent. So you can't pay your employees anymore. And the people who are staying at home taking care of their paraplegic family members and all of that, they have to go to work. So then who's left to care? They're going into hospitals. They can't, a nursing home is not a place. They're not going to provide the care that a paraplegic needs when they need 2 people a day to turn them and feed them and all these type of things. And these are the most severely injured. But even when I look at myself, and so, like I can't get transportation for medical, and then you have providers who aren't necessarily completely affected by this, but now they're scared. They're scared that they're not going to get paid. So I have some medical things that I need, and they said, well, we won't give them to you until we actually get the money. So normally you would just bill the insurance company and get what you need. It's so bad. We didn't win. We didn't win. And people have been lobbying, and then a lot of people don't understand that the little money they're saving, the little $100, $200, or whatever it is, if you get hurt and you didn't choose lifetime benefits, I have lifetime unlimited benefits, and I still can't fully get what I need. So those people who have Medicaid, and they say, okay, well, we won't take the full unlimited PIP benefits. We'll just let Medicaid. Well, Medicaid's not going to give you very much care either. Right. And they're saving a few $100 a month.
Medicaid or Medicare.
Oh, they get you coming and going. They've got it all plotted out. And we're going to talk more about this, but you're a poet, Natasha, and so am I. And one of my favorite poets is Dylan Thomas, and I think it was Dylan Thomas. I was thinking. I don't know how I could have forgotten that, but I did.
I just attribute everything to Shakespeare. Not something.
Yeah, right. Well, you're safe if you do that, because 90% of our quotes, friends, Romans, countrymen.
Or Twain, that's it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And you sound smart when you say that. Let me do this, John.
Oh, okay.
You're watching WJZZ Cool TV, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
And thank you, Char J, for that commercial. We've got Natasha Ane, the poet, in the studio today. And Natasha, you said you had a new piece that you wanted to share.
Yeah, that was the power piece that I really wanted to get out there for people to hear my perspective firsthand, and my anger with not being able to get a return on all the money we paid.
Right.
You know, we pay all this money every month to turn around to need care, and then they just, you know, it reminds me of, like, you know, it's not the same, but you know how they treat the military. They invest all this time and energy and then say, oh, well, we'll just give you pennies.
So, John, moving on to the next question. So, if someone is not in an accident, then it won't affect them? Because I wanted to ask that, and I see that was one of the questions.
No, that's absolutely not true. So if your family member gets hurt and you're the one that needs to help care for that family member, and you need to make an income, and they need so much of your time that you can't afford to work, that you know, the insurance company should be paying you to care for your family members, for your loved one. It may not be someone in your house. It could be your aunt or your grandmother or anybody. And you won't be able to make a living wage. They cut the number of hours that family members can provide to their family members.
Right.
So if they need 24-hour care,
I think they only
they're
give you
left
like
without
6.
care for.
Because I had like 3 accidents within 18 months, and it was none of them were my fault.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they paid my son
Right.
a little bit
Right.
to come in, but it wasn't.
Right.
I think it was like $60 a day or something like that, and that's not a.
Yeah,
a
so
lot
the
of money.
wages are cut 50-something%, and the hours are cut. So how do you care for your family member? A company's not going to do it. So just on the news last night on Channel 7, they had Vladimir, the hockey player that was paralyzed,
Oh, okay.
and he's in this same situation. He needs 24/7 care. They're getting ready to have to put him into a hospital because the provider said we can't keep holding on and not getting the money that we need to care for him. So he's in this fight too. Yeah, and we're still paying extremely high insurance rates. So even if you're
Particularly
not
in
affected,
Detroit.
In Detroit.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Well,
Detroit.
Wayne County.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's because it's a lot cheaper in Oakland and Macomb.
Yeah,
a lot
well,
cheaper. And other states are a lot cheaper.
Detroit drags down Wayne County. That's what
Right.
they get
Overall.
us. They get us coming and going.
Right,
let me
because I'm
tell
not
you.
in Detroit. I am in Wayne County, and it's not as bad as inner city Detroit, but it's bad.
Yeah.
And it's better to have it than not have it.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Well, and you asked me to ask this question,
Mhm.
Natasha. I think I may already know the answer, but if someone isn't ever in an accident, this won't ever affect them, right or wrong?
Wrong. And the
Yeah.
other thing is you need to have certain protections in place as a driver. So, even though we can't immediately do anything about the law and, we're trying to lobby and all of that, but right now there's things that you can do to protect yourself as much as possible to get the most benefits out of the situation if something were to ever happen. And you could be a driver and someone in your vehicle get hurt and you not get hurt. So that still has to do with your insurance.
You bet it does.
And with the new law, that you are more responsible for the medical benefits of the passenger, and that directly affects you as the driver.
It didn't used to be like that.
Exactly, it didn't. So if you don't carry enough coverage, you're liable.
So
for the
what
medical
what made it
benefits.
change? Why did it change? How did it change?
Governor Whitmer.
Oh boy.
And I will be completely honest. In the lobbying, there's no Republicans that are willing to sit down and look at reforming a new law. There no Republicans are willing. They said, come back after elections, that type of thing. They're not willing to do it.
Well, any Republican in power anymore is not a Republican.
Mhm.
We don't have the Millicans, the Eisenhowers, the Gerald Fords. We don't have them anymore. What we have is the Trumpists, the Retrumplicans. And if we don't do something in this country to make sure that the Democrats retain the presidency, regain the Senate, because we don't have the Senate now, because we've got 2 traitors in the Senate, Sinema and Manchin. And if we don't regain that Senate and keep the House, we're going to lose our democracy. So as I have said, and will say again, and say again some more, vote Democratic, straight ticket, up and down the line, State House, all the way up to the presidency. Okay, we've got Natasha and A in the station today.
And you know, the issue's not a partisan issue.
Oh, no.
It's a everybody, every day. It's everybody.
I mean, do we want to stay free or not? I mean, do we want a democracy or don't we? It's as simple as that.
So what people should do is find what's important to you, and then follow who supports what's important to you. And then that's pretty much how you should base your vote, because you'll find that the Democrats are the ones that probably follow what you what you need.
Yeah.
So and that's really how you should vote. Who speaks for you is who you should put in office.
Yeah, don't listen to Fox News,
Oh, no.
because Fox News, they should call it an entertainment channel. You know, it's not news. With all the lies they're telling, you know, every lie that comes out of all of their mouths, don't listen to them. And if you voted Republican last time, I forgive you. You know, but don't do it again if you want to stay free. If you want to stay free, you know, I don't care what you voted before. You've got to vote Democrat this time, straight up and down the ticket. And okay, that's the last. Well, maybe it's not the last sermon. You know me. Okay, what is something that people can do now to protect themselves as it relates to auto insurance?
This is really important, and I just want to list the things because, you know, this is something people really want to write down. When I had the hit and run, I didn't realize that I had a policy that was protecting me. That if someone doesn't have insurance, which you know in Detroit, that's very highly likely, or they chose the low policies
Just
and they
to
don't
have
have
it,
enough
right.
policy. So underinsured and uninsured, you need to have at least $500,000 of coverage for uninsured, underinsured coverage.
Say that again.
Yeah.
You hear that, folks?
One of the things is to always carry. Should not be optional. It's not. Can you afford it? You can't afford not to have uninsured and underinsured motor vehicle coverage. And I suggest at least $500,000 of a policy. And so that if it's a hit and run or they don't have enough, you'll be a lot better off. Because if you don't have that and the person didn't have insurance, you can't get any pain and suffering compensation. And that's easier to get than the medical benefits, actually. But you also need to have unlimited lifetime PIP benefits. And that's for your medical care, because you don't know.
What's PIP? What's PIP?
Personal injury protection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unlimited lifetime. You need to have unlimited. So we think that we're invincible. And at this point, I may need to have physical therapy, however long or whatever. They could take one car accident to give you a brain injury to be, yeah. So other thing is, don't choose managed care. That's if you have other insurance like through Medicaid or Medicare and you want them to be the primary. Don't choose them as the primary because they're not going to give you fully what you need. Choose your auto insurance as the primary coverage. And then also choose uncoordinated medical benefits. You don't want anybody coordinating your medical benefits because, again, you're not going to get all that you need fully.
And that's saying like what you can get and when you can get it. Is that what they tell you what you can get and when you can get it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's coordinated. Yeah, and it's
You may
coordinated
need it
with
now.
another, like if you have Medicaid or whatever, or there's your other health insurance through your job or something like that. They're not going to want to pay all this extra money that auto is supposed to automatically pay. So auto will pay for things that your regular health insurance won't pay for.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as they see it's connected to your injury. And then the last thing is for bodily injury, with the new law, you get the form and it says, do you want the $250,000 policy or do you want lower, like 50,000 or something? Don't choose that. Choose 500,000 for that also. 50,000 is not enough. My injuries are way over 250,000. They're in a catastrophic.
Wow.
You know, and I seem fine. But the level of injury and, you know, you have to pay all these medical providers and all these tests and physical therapy. And, you know, once you injure something, you know, it comes back. And
Tell me about it.
So,
It
yeah,
gets
you
cold,
want to
it
have.
starts raining.
You want
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Don't think you're invincible.
Oh, you're
This
not
is
invincible.
necessary.
You're not invincible.
Especially when on the lodge with it. When they're on the lodge with it.
Lord.
In
Oh,
94 with
people
it.
come up with. You know?
It comes back to haunt you in so many
I
ways.
tell you.
You know, I mean, old guys, old athletes. You know, just take it from me. And
Yeah.
it wasn't the sprinting or the. Oh man, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm on a cane now, and I used to be, you know, one of the two or three
Right.
fastest sprinters
I'm using
in
a
the
walking
world.
stick, and you know, and who would have thought?
In fact, I didn't take my cane in here, but it's sitting out there, my
Yeah.
trusty cane. You never know when it's going to hit, too.
Yeah.
You get out of bed sometimes, you're fine. Other times you can't get out of bed. Or you're crawling to the toilet and calling your chiropractor, you know. Back injuries, too. Well, anyway, that's... So we're talking about insurance. We've got Natasha Ane in the studio today, who has become an expert in this field. You know,
No
given
expert. I'm just
well,
living it.
well, okay, if someone wants to get involved with no fault auto reform, whom do they contact, and
Yeah.
what should they do?
Yeah. Well, I'm not the expert. I can tell you firsthand, but there's an organization that was formed by people who have been providers for their family members and seeing with proper care how healing can happen, and then seeing also without proper care, without the proper medical reimbursement, what can happen. And it's called We Can't Wait MI, which is for Michigan. We Can't Wait MI.org. Hashtag is We Can't Wait. So connect, you know, go to their website, look up the hashtag We Can't Wait, go to their website, We Can't Wait MI.org, and they're lobbying, they're laying out at the in Lansing, they have wheelchair, they're doing all they can. But Detroit has a lot of voting power. Detroit
If
has
they
got
vote.
to get, right. But the amount of people, they have got to get involved. It can't just be the people up north or, you know, in the outlying outskirts. Detroit has got to get involved. This directly impacts Detroit, and we have to get connected and make our voice heard.
We can't wait MI.org.
Yes.
We can't wait MI.org. And Detroit has to get the vote out.
They do.
So you know, a lot of Detroiters are listening to this show who don't vote, who haven't voted. And I'm talking to you now. Get out the vote for this cause and make sure that you vote straight Democratic. I'll say that 1,000 times. Doesn't matter what you voted before. Vote straight Democratic. Get out the vote. And those 90% of you, almost 85% of you, 83% of you who did not vote in Detroit, my fellow Detroiters who were eligible to vote, people have died for the vote.
Yes, they have. Your forefathers fought for you to have this right, and you won't even get up and honor them with that. You know, so I don't understand it. It's just like they fought for you to learn how to read, and you won't do that either. So I don't get it. You're watching WJZZ Cool TV live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ TV, the coolest station in the world.
And let me add another commercial. Miss Virginia Starkey, fondly known as V, the proprietress of V's Boutique, which offers a wide range of fine clothing and accessories for ladies, is located over at 16423 East Warren, 16423 East Warren Avenue on the east side. And You can't find fine clothes like that anywhere else in Detroit. So get over there and patronize V's Boutique. It's right around the corner from the Alger Theater, the old Alger Theater, and from one of the few libraries that's still open. And Russ Ballant tells me that they're going to be opening a few more. And that'll be good because we were talking about the reading problem in this city. We've got a literacy problem in this city of the first water. I mean, we got problems. You know, half the adults in this town don't read at the level they need to read at.
That's right.
And the kids in Detroit, well, that's a whole other story now. You know, I'm doing my part, and so is Helen Moore. You know, with her Let's Read program that she's got now in the Detroit Public Schools Community District. But we've got to get one of those libraries open. We've got to make sure that the kids at the third grade level know how to read, because you know that they're gonna make them repeat the fourth grade this coming year if they don't read at level.
Oh, really?
So anyway, we've got Natasha and A in the station today, and Natasha, do you have another poem you would like to share?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect kind of ending. You know, I loved your new piece you wrote just 2 days ago. It seems so perfect for today. And I kind of want to piggyback with that sentiment about the power of our voice. And is a piece dedicated for Maya Angelou, and I embodying her spirit to advocate and be a voice for the voiceless. She gives hope by rising and writing. She rose above every obstacle like a track star. Her tears are the ink and motivation, that second wind. There are no blank pages of her life. Every line was spent. Her secrets are audible and readable. Do not call her Maya, young ladies. It's Miss Angelou. She is your mother, aunt, and grandmother. She is every woman abused, molested, raped. Traffic was not just with the cars she saw. She was green, but not with envy. She was naive, looking for love, searching for a place to land her heart. She was caged, but her voice made her free. Her transparency released her from the past. Stories skimmed the truth, yet encompassed and intrigued every reader. You found yourself in her. She found her. She was sacred and ethereal. She was African, Caribbean, and American too. She embodied the spirit of ancestors. She is ancestral. An ancestor that could never die because she lived and you knew she was here. It's as if she never left. Her spirit is in every word written. She carried music in her hips. She carried wisdom in her lips. Bold, telling stories that never end, giving youth the truth. A mirror to look. She believed power was to be used purposefully and without vulgarity. That's immaturity. I admire. Her spirit is presently speaking positivity. She kept her legacy alive, knowing she too would join the ones that came before. The caged bird sings, knowing that there are no cages when your voice rises above bars, imagined or real. She made kings out of boys and queens out of girls. She was selective in her words, mute until she chose to speak. Oh, but when she did.
Maya Angelou knew why the caged bird sings. Okay, my turn for a poem. I want you to bring some poems next time. I want Char J to bring some poems. This lady can write, and I want to see her do some poetry.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got some kids who are writing some pretty good poems, so I know that you can write even better ones, you know. But here's a poem of my vision. I have a vision in my heart and in my spirit and my soul that all the children on my chart will never have to pay the toll of poverty and ravaged mind, or end up dead or on the dole, but will through education find their life-fulfilling future goal. And Natasha, you got another poem? I knew she would. I knew she would. All right.
Sometimes many people are smiling and crying all at the same time. And all we do is judge their situation instead of asking them, are you okay? After all, maybe you might be that one person they tell the truth to, because though they will be, right now, they're actually not okay. So stop talking and listen to the silence. You'll hear the tears fall when no one is watching. Therapists make better friends sometimes when friends and family won't pay attention. Everybody's going through something.
Yes, they are.
You know, your poems have so much rhythm. Go ahead,
Oh,
Charlie.
I was going to say, to wrap it up, what do you want people to know about your poetry, auto reform? Got a couple of minutes.
Okay. So just to sum up, first I want them to know that the idea of the no-fault auto reform law and no-fault auto, even if they don't carry insurance, this affects us all. It affects your families. It affects people you care about. And ultimately, it's going to affect your pocket. So one way or another, we're going to pay. So you need to get involved and you need to pay attention. You need to get educated, like John said. The other thing is that protect yourself in the ways that I shared. Protect yourself with the insurance. You can't afford not to have insurance. And then the other thing for me personally is that I want them to connect with me through my website, My Beautiful Thoughts. My stage name is Beautiful Thought, and so my website is mybeautifulthoughts.net. So connect with me there. You can find out about my poetry tea event and anything else that I'm going to be having coming up. So I'm a snowball that's the building momentum, and so I'm thankful for this opportunity to be here to share my heart and share my spirit today.
But you're not a snowball rolling down the hill. You're rolling up the hill.
Yeah, I'm gaining momentum.
You're defying gravity.
I love it.
That's what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to do one last poem then too.
You have 30 seconds, sir.
Oh, I do. Then I'm not going. I'm not going to do one last poem. Yes, I will. I'll say, don't be a dummy who hesitated. Say that again. Don't be a dummy who hesitated. Hasten to get yourself vaccinated. We need immunity in our community.
Okay. I don't have anything to. That's it for us. We're gonna sign off now.
That's what we're going to do.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, hey, you've been great. This was a good show.
You've been listening to the John Telford Detroit Show with Dr. John Telford and co-host Charlotte
You
Jones.
had a piece right here. What's this one?
WJZZ Detroit
I was curious
Internet
what that
Television,
one was.
coming to you live every Wednesday
Citywide.
morning at 10 o'clock.
Oh, just
Also streaming
notes
on
to
YouTube,
myself.
Oh, I
Facebook,
thought it was a
and
poem.
Twitter.
Looked like a poem.
It wasn't a poem.
Contact Dr. Telford at 313-460-8272.
We can make anything a poem.
313-460-8272. Or at Dr. John Telford, EDD at AOL.com. That's DrJohnTelfordEDD at AOL.com. To sponsor or appear on this show, or to get signed copies of his book, which Hugh Perkins, Jeffrey Feiger, and Dr. Wayne Dyer all call spellbinding and sensational. It was the late, great Dr. Wayne Dyer who said, Dr. John Telford has a warrior's heart and a poet's soul. Read Dr. Telford's commentaries